Hey guys, how's it going? I'm in the process, still working on the downstairs bathroom. Probably about halfway done, maybe a little bit past that. And I figure I'd click the camera on again and show you where I am with it, and maybe a couple of little how-to tricks, stuff I've learned. So without further ado, let's go head into the bathroom. First thing you notice is I got the sink pulled out, the back of the toilet pulled out, and then there's a trash bag sitting over the top of the toilet just to protect it. And basically just been doing a bunch of spackling where the damage was, dug out all the corners where the ice dam did the damage on the back of the roof, and went ahead and the tape was still good. It just it pushed between the paint and the spackle is where it lifted, so it didn't even blow out the tape joints. It just which was that cloth type with the weave in it. So those are in the process of just kind of getting finished up. One of the windows, people are commenting how many windows are in the for a bathroom, and we're just trying to get a bunch of light in here, and that is the piece of stained glass that covers that window, so that pretty much lets light in but doesn't impede in the view. And these two guys, that octagon window and that octagon window, I added for trying to get light into the space. The problem is our kitchen's kind of in the center of the house and it doesn't have much light coming in. So what I did was I put that window there, and then a French door, another French door there, that's the door going down to the basement, and then the outside door. So at least this corner of the kitchen allows some light to try to come in. I'll show you a tour of the kitchen, but it's a bomb because of all the construction that's going on. But when I'm finished, I'll pan back to it. So that's what's kind of going on as far as who, how, where, and when. Some of the other topics people were asking about, one was a lot of people seem to like the cat box setup, and I made this whole assembly right down in here. As I said, I have no closets on the first floor, so I kind of boxed in this section. I wasn't sure if I was going to put a washer and dryer here or the storage, and it ended up going for the storage like you see. And then on the bottom of it, at the time we had 3 cats, then 2, then 1. They got to live fairly old. I think Sam was the oldest. I think she was like 15 or 16. 17 maybe, and then Larry and Casey. But my wife's allergic to cats, so as they lived their long life and passed on, we didn't replace any. But at the time, you know, guys, you have cat boxes, especially 3 cats, it just gets into a mess. And Larry was very vigorous as far as when he was done with his business, kicking the stuff everywhere. So that's why I kind of went and did this. One door closes this whole section, and then there's 2 doors over there. So I tiled the whole floor first, and then built the structure up above it, and again punched the hole in the side of it so that the cats can come and go. And what I had in there was a plastic, kind of like one of those things that fit the space really well. And of course I had the lid with it, and I just took the lid and I cut in about an inch in and made a hole in the center of it so that the cat box was all self-contained, and as they kicked, it kind of hit the lip and try to keep most of the material in there. And if not, it was all tiled in there, so you were able to sweep it out real easy and just work with that one space. So there's some other spaces in the house that are like that too. I have a farmer's door between the family room and the dining room. I'll show that at a later date. But anyway, I did this room about 10 years ago, did all the wainscoting. Again, the floor was ripped out of it, the walls were down to the studs, and again, it was a porch. Still a porch, you can kind of see by that angle. And I don't know if you should tell, but that actually kind of drops down a little bit. That's probably about 1.5 inches lower than it is over there. And that's just the pitch of the floor. That was the original porch. So, getting her cleaned up. I was watching a couple of guys are doing bathrooms. Milrick 77s being one of them. And he already talked about the sponge trick for smoothing out your joints. And a couple of things I can add to that. When your corners and you want to get them done, use one of your sponge rollers, get them wet. You can kind of work the corners. It'll make a nice roll going around them. And for finishing your corners, got inside and outside spackle knives. It just makes life so much easier. You put the spackle on just like you would with a regular 6-inch blade, but then you come back over it with this tool and you draw this tool over and it will give you a nice smooth rolled corner going into both sides. And for the outside corners, you got one that goes the other way. And so say if you're doing a sheetrock corner like this, it'll extrude a nice smooth corner going the other direction. How many times have you chased? You know, you spackle one side, come on, focus. Spackle one side, and then you do the other side, and you go back to the other side, and you chase those two corners forever to try to get a nice straight line. So for the expense of what those things cost, and if you own an old house, you end up doing a lot of that stuff. All the white has been painted, other than the ceiling has already had a primer and 2 finish coats put on. All the wainscoting's been done with a semi-gloss white. Before there was more of an eggshell, and that's not good enough for a bathroom. It doesn't clean up as well. You kind of see that this stuff's got a sheen to it, you know, at the finished. So it should be easy enough to clean up. When I paint, now especially this kind of stuff, I just use a small roller and a small brush, and what I'll do is I actually take the paint, nice wet roller, boop, 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 put the paint on with the roller, and then quickly come back and come back with the roller and brush rather, and just face it all off with the brush, and that allows you to have the correct grain. Wherever the wood grain is going is the same direction you want to go with the brush. It just makes it look much better. Exception rules are can be done, but for the most part that's what you want to follow. You want to just follow what your grain is when you're done and just kind of lay it all off. It makes the lines go the correct direction. What else can we talk about? Oh, and then like say when you're done with a sponge and you get it as close as you can, should back up a little bit. A couple of the things that I do for sanding. First of all, I use a sanding screen on a pole for the larger areas, just try to get it close. And then when you're into little corners, just the same as doing body work, I just use the paint stick and I wrap the screen around the paint stick, and then you can kind of work all your joints back and forth and get them nice and level. Then you hit them with a sponge, and then I'm going to show you one trick afterwards for a little fine sanding. Especially when you're doing gloss, just take regular paper. You can use newspaper if you want. And hopefully this is dry enough, but you'll get the idea. You can kind of see how that's got like, you know, still like a rough texture to it that would show if you painted it. Hopefully that's dry. Let's see what we get. If you take that and just take regular paper and use it as a sandpaper, you'll notice how all that kind of goes away. And let's see, any other places I can kind of show you on that. But it just works as a sandpaper. Works quite well. Especially, you know, if you're working with a flat paint, don't even worry about it because it won't show. But when you start getting up to like anything above satin and then into semi-gloss and all those little details kind of show, just like painting a car. You know, flat black, nothing shows. Primer, nothing shows. But the more gloss you get, the more the imperfections show. And for getting into like little, say if you want to do little repairs, I've already kind of done them. But say if you're doing plaster and you got slight imperfections. I'll see if I can see it. The problem is the color's not going to show up difference. But there was like a void there and a void here. Here's like still another void, right? Kind of tell just a little bit. To fill those in, instead of getting a spackle all over again and trying to use all that, here's a cheap and easy way. It's good for nail holes, good for that kind of stuff. Bear with me one second. Grab the knife. This stuff. It's called lightweight, one-time spackle. There's a bunch of different names for it, but like when you pick the can up, it'll feel like there's actually almost nothing in it. Is this stuff. It's kind of like, it's not as heavy as marshmallow, but it's got like the texture of, say, marshmallow. You can kind of see how it's like, it's pliable, but if you take that and here's a little bit of water right here, not much, just a little bit of water, and if you give it a second, you just work that in. I'm trying to do this left-handed, one-handed, so just bear with me. But if you work that a little bit, it'll get to a point where it's like, I'd say like honey almost. And that stuff right there will fill in any void. You use the putty knife with it. And this stuff is really good for filling in slight voids in the spackle. Instead of you going back with the spackle again and waiting for it to dry. And what's good about this stuff, a couple things. One is when it dries, it doesn't crack. At least it hasn't cracked on me. And it spreads real easy and it dries real fast. Like if you do, sheetrock, you gotta wait for the thing 8-10 hours for the sucker to dry. And this stuff, you put it on, and then 15-20 minutes later, the water comes right out of it, and you're good to go. So if you're getting close to paint and you have a couple of boo-boos that you want to go fix up, let me see if I can find something. I'm sure I can find something. Just hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put you down. Let me get this stuff organized on the knife a little bit. So what we're gonna do is just kind of put it on the end, scoop all that up, and just kind of put it where I can work it. Let me see if I can find something. It's gotta be there's a nail hole right there, slightly recessed. So look at it. You guys can see that little recess right there? Do it again. That's it. Done. Don't touch it. You don't have to sand it. Nothing. It's just good to go, just like that. So it's good for filling all those little slight imperfections. You could stick it on your finger, see if you have a crack. Let's go. I generally use silicone if I can find something somewhere. I know I didn't do that good of a job. Generally, I would run with silicone over like some voids. There's one around somewhere. I know I saw it. Come on. Oh well. I did too good of a job, I guess. Anyway, you could actually take it and use it sick. Even just like that little blowout in the paint. Can you see the little tiny crack? Little crack in the paint there. You could actually just fill that right in. And you just wipe it with your finger. And that's it. You're done. You don't have to do anything else with it. You don't have to sand it, nothing. And it's dry. That has such a little bit. It's just dried a couple minutes. By the time you're ready to paint, it's already done. So let me just go clean off my finger here. We're about halfway done with this bathroom, and hopefully by today I should have it all painted. Just pretty much ready to go. Just a little bit of just trying to clean up some of these seams just a little bit better. And for the repair, somewhere in here. The crap's everywhere. Yeah. Broke down. And for the outside of the house is we got this guy. And I'm just gonna put this on the outside. It's got a plug on the end of it. Basically it's just a long extension cord that heats up. And you get little connectors that go on the roof, and that should stop my ice dam problem. I've only had the one time that it was a problem. It hasn't been back since. I try to keep the snow off the edge of the roof, and it keeps itself good. But for insurance, we're going to put that up there because, damn well, because I'm doing the room, it's going to blow itself out again. But that's where we are. The last thing I'm going to do is just get some silicone caulking, and just like silicone where you see I dug out the silicone before, kind of clean up those joints. The one thing you don't want to see is any cracks. You want all your seams nice and tight, because that's what just makes it look like a better job. You start seeing cracks in the corners of all your molding and all, it shows up really good like that. Just little stuff like that just kind of shows up. So alright guys, just next video should be all done and cleaned up and put back together, and then we get to do it all over again upstairs. This was the easy one. This is the warm-up bathroom. The one upstairs needs a bunch more work than this one does. We're doing tile floors and tile around the backsplash of the shower and that kind of stuff. So alright guys, thanks for watching and commenting And hopefully your wives don't get you going on doing home improvements. I apologize if I started anything. All right, guys, take care. Bye.